After 2 years of negotiations, 7 Western states have missed the latest federal deadline to reach an agreement on sharing the Colorado River's dwindling water supply. California, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico had until this past Saturday to reach a consensus on a plan to cut water use and regulate the amount each state can access in the coming decades. Over the weekend, Interior Secretary Doug Burgum told the New York Times the missed deadline now puts the responsibility of creating that plan on the Federal Bureau of Reclamation. He acknowledged a plan created under the Interior Department could eventually be challenged by the states before the Supreme Court. CBS News national environmental correspondent David Schechter joins us now. So, David, why have the states not been able to reach an agreement? What are the sticking points?
I mean, can you imagine having 7 states try to come up with an agreement, a voluntary agreement about the water that serves 40 million people and a lot of agriculture? Just very challenging negotiation, particularly in a time when the Colorado River Basin is getting drier and drier. The upper basin states, which you mentioned, that's Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, New Mexico, that's where a lot of the water sort of generates from, and the snowpack, the snow gets in the mountains and then drains into the river. They were insistent upon voluntary standards that would be set. They didn't want to be necessarily bound to anything specific. The lower basin, which is California, Arizona, and Nevada, they're more sort of users of the water, and they were willing to go into some contractual bound agreements. And so there was a real sticking point between wanting to have the flexibility in the upper basin and wanting to really have some specificity in the lower basin. And they've just been unable to come to an agreement. And I'm not sure anybody's particularly surprised about that because it's a difficult negotiation.
So how necessary are water use cuts for the river? How dire is the situation, and how could this play out?
I was speaking with an expert today, and this kind of floored me, but they're getting pretty close to, I think he said not this December, but the following December, where they would get into what's called the dead pool situation, where Lake Powell would no longer have enough water in it to even generate hydroelectricity. We've had like one of the driest winters so far in states like Utah. There's like no snow falling there. And coming to some sort of compromise about how to share a dwindling resource is just incredibly important for all the 7 states that run along this river. So it's really hard to overestimate how important these negotiations are and how critical now it is that the Fed step in and actually find an agreement that everybody can, I guess, somehow support. But ultimately, of course, it probably would go to court.
David Schechter, we know you'll stay on it. Come back. Thank you so much.